After Brett Maher missed 4 extra points on Monday, Skip's Cowboys have signed Tristan Vizcaino to the team's practice squad. Now, the plan is still for Maher to kick on Sunday against the 49ers. Insiders are labeling this move as, quote, insurance. Skip, let's start with you. What's going on here?
Shannon Sharp, you're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Please help me here. When I read this yesterday afternoon, I fell out of my chair and I said, what in the name of Tom Landry is my team doing with its kickers? I hate kickers, and now I got 2 of them that I have to hate. Not personally, I just hate what they do or can't do. So I'm saying, wait a second. We just signed a potential replacement kicker who has now been signed and cut by 10 teams in the National Football League. And by the way, Brett the Fret Maher has also been signed and cut by 10 different NFL teams, and he also played for 4 teams in the Canadian Football League. So he's been on 14 pro teams because all 14 of them decided he's no good anymore. We got to get another one.
Right.
So now I'm pressed into a corner where I might have to replace a repeatedly recycled kicker with an all-time repeatedly recycled kicker. And I'm saying, wait a second, where have I heard that name? Tristan Vizcaino. Oh, yeah, the Chargers. Does anybody remember this? So I look it up. Back in 2021, do you remember what happened? Coming out of camp for the Chargers, they had nothing but trouble with their field goal kicking. They let Tristan Vizcaino compete against Michael Badgley and beat him out. And they went forward into the season with Tristan Vizcaino as their kicker. And guess what happened? He was waived on October 26th because through the first 7 weeks of the season, he led the NFL with 5 missed extra points. 5 missed extra points, and he got cut because he could not make an extra point kick. Help me out here. What was the problem with my kicker on Monday night? He continued after he missed the final one that he attempted at Washington. He missed his first 4 extra points at Tampa. That was 5 straight extra points that he missed. So wait, we're adding insult to injury? And yet, what did I hear on Tuesday morning? I heard my coach, Mike McCarthy, please drop the mic, say, we are forging ahead with Brett Maher. Right. I heard all the players, starting with my quarterback, say, we have his back. They all call him Money Maher because he had not a good year. I got to say he had a great year. Yeah. I'm looking, he made 50 of 53 extra points during the regular season, 29 of 32 field goals. That's 90%. That will work. 9 of 11 from 50-plus yards. That will really work. He was thunder-footed Money Maher. And so I'm saying, okay, short week. We got to scramble, throw it together, jump back on the plane and go to San Francisco. Let's just close our eyes and hope this is going to work out. And I think this is Jerry Jones running amok because it sounded like Jerry after the game wasn't quite as sold as McCarthy and Dak and all the rest were on Money Maher.
But that's what he said. He said, nah, he said he's not going to get a new kicker because he's made enough of those.
He said we're going to revisit this. But the point was, it sounds like he pushed, let's go get somebody. Well, let's just say, what if you had talked to Adam Vinatieri to come off the couch and kick for you? I'd buy that, seriously, because I believe, I don't even know how old Adam is, 50.
Oh, he's got to be 50.
Yeah, okay. But could he still kick? I'll bet he could.
Yeah.
I'll bet he could. I'll bet I could trust him to go to San Francisco and be pretty good. Okay, so then I look a little harder at Vizcaino's resume here, and I think, oh, wait a second. He did kick for the 49ers. This is all the way back in the COVID season, 2020. The last game of the year, Robbie Gould got COVID, and so they needed somebody to step in for him. And so he kicked against Seattle, and I'm thinking, oh, good. He kicked at Levi because he made all 3 of his field goals and made 2 extra points. And I'm thinking, maybe that's why they signed him. They're thinking, if he gets thrown into the fire at Levi, at least he feels good about the surroundings and the wind and whatever. He feels comfortable there. And then I look deeper. No, they weren't playing at Levi because COVID knocked them out of their county. They said you can't play. And they got moved to Glendale, where the Super Bowl is going to be. So they were in State Farm, where we're going to be for the Super Bowl. Okay, so he didn't even kick at Levi for the 49ers. He actually kicked against Seattle in Phoenix. Okay, so that doesn't even count. So it doesn't work. So now I'm thinking, What exactly what's your game plan here? And it was written in ESPN that, well, they're going to let Maher kick today and tomorrow and see if the yips are starting to subside. If at least in practice he looks like he gets his swing back, his leg swing back. And yet, what if he doesn't? Would you close your eyes and have Tristan Vizcaino kicking for your life in San Francisco?
Yeah, I don't think you have a choice. I agree with you, but I'm not surprised. I thought they would bring somebody in and kick. Now, here's the thing. In order for him to be elevated, you're going to have to release somebody because your roster is already set, Skip. So are you...
Would you take two kickers? Would you knock somebody off your, 53?
53.
Okay, would you knock a special teamer off to carry two kickers to San Francisco?
You might have to.
And I've looked back and I've racked my brain on this. Maybe you can remember a time I can't. No kicker, no first-string kicker that I can remember, especially in a playoff game, has ever been yanked in mid-game.
No.
Where they just said, okay, you missed your first field goal and we don't trust you anymore. So let's send the second-string kicker in to do the rest of the kicking.
I mean, they used to carry, sometimes they would carry and Skip somebody to kick the field goals and then somebody to kick off because the guy that could kick the field goals didn't have the long leg and he couldn't kick off. And
That's happened fairly regularly.
Right.
In fact, I look back and there were 3 times here in the last 15 years. No, the last 15 years where teams have gone into a playoff game with 2 kickers, but one was kicking off, had the big leg.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But nobody, to my memory, has ever actually yanked a kicker in mid-game.
No.
Right?
No, because normally you can't yank him because you don't have another one on the roster. Because Skip, a lot of times when the kicker get hurt, what do? You gotta go for 2. Because your punter, you would think like, bro, you had to have kicked in high school. Most punters kicked in high school.
Yep.
Most kickers were punters.
They were.
So I guess it's a lot easier for a kicker to become a punter than a punter to become a kicker. But anyway, so my thing is, Skip, okay, you did this. And I agree with you. So what message are you sending? Because now he's looking over his shoulder, knowing that, okay, damn, if I F this up, there's a good chance I don't kick on Sunday. And so now that's in the back of his mind. Yeah. He was already a mess to begin with.
He was a mess. And what does your man Bones say?
Yeah.
What's his Fossil? Couldn't think of his last name. Bones Fossil said on Tuesday that he's devastated and distraught over this because he sounds like he looks like a good young man. You know, he's a nice guy. He's taking it very seriously. Right. He looked like he'd seen his own ghost after the game. So he's a wreck. He's a psychological wreck. And yet, if you prop him up and say, we got your back, and you don't bring in another kicker, he might start to feel pretty good about, man, I had a great year. Maybe I can get this back.
Right.
But now, wait, somebody is looking over your shoulder? Really? You do have somebody right there to replace you?
Right.
What are you doing? Why would you do that to Brett the Fret? You're just going to make him fret even more.
So what would you have had them do? Do you prefer them just go forward with him? Go
forward because it's a short week and you're coming off your best game, not just of the year, maybe of the century.
That might have been your best offensive game. That was your worst special teams game ever.
Okay, for him.
Yeah.
Because he was the one fly in the ointment. And again, it's so ironic to me because I despise kicking. I want it abolished from the game. I wish they had to go for 2 every time. But the one thing that I hate, mucked up the best game my team has played maybe since the Super Bowl year. Seriously, as far as a playoff game.
Especially offensively.
Yeah.
You haven't played an offensive game like this in the playoffs since that Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I have to go back 27 years to the last time we put on a tour de force performance like that got graffiti sprayed all over it by the kicker of all people who doesn't even play football. That's what I hate about this. There's no way that Brett Maher could make the team as a safety. He's not good enough.
Right.
Okay? So the point is, why would you bring in the other guy? And it's just another guy who's been recycled as many times as the
it's not like,
guy.
And looking at his resume, it's not like it's any better than what Maher did the other night, Skip, because he's 15 or 20 on extra points in only 10 games. So he's missed 5 extra points in 10 games? That's not good.
Okay, but I told you, he missed them all early as the Chargers' #1 kicker.
Right.
Well, so his demons are worst on extra points.
Yes.
And you're going to bring him in? It's like now you got to pick the lesser of 2 evils because they both had issues with extra points.
Right.
Well, which one's going to have the fewest demons? It's come to this.
Brett Maher kicked all year. Here's the